Hello guys, welcome, a big welcome to my channel. If you're a new subscriber, thank you for subscribing. Thank you to all you guys for sticking with me, watching my content. I hope you are really enjoying what I'm putting out. So today I'm going to be talking about my journey to getting pregnant, trying to conceive. I'm going to talk about a couple of things, what I did, what my process was, what my journey was, what I ate, and so on and forth. So, are you ready, guys? It's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. Oh yeah, let's go. So I have been married 9 years plus, and obviously, you know, getting married, you're so excited and you're happy to be with your love, you know, with my love, and you know, looking forward to the future and all that. And initially when we first got married, we were not looking to start trying for children immediately. So we're like, oh, the first 2 years, let us just kind of, you know, chill a little bit. And then around about the time when we were ready, you know, we were like, okay, let's like, you know, start taking it a little bit more, you know, serious, you know, get down on the ground. If you know what I mean. So we started trying out, and then we started noticing challenges that we're having. But prior to that, we were not using any form of protection, as it were. I was not on any contraceptives or anything, so nothing really happened. And so for us, we're kind of like, okay, well, you know, that's the situation, and we didn't think there was any problem, as it were. So a couple of years down the line, we decided to go and do some tests, because we're like, okay, this is now 3 years down into being married, you know, and it was getting kind of difficult and harder to conceive. And so we went and decided to do some tests to find out what was going on. So obviously, the usual thing is, the typical thing is you always try to check for the woman and see whether you've got, your eggs are okay, you're producing monthly and all that. So we decided to do like a test for myself and then for my husband. And so my husband's one was like a sperm count. We did that. A couple of things they noticed, but it was fine. And then mine, guys, when I say this test is not for the faint-hearted, it was not a joke. I did a high COSI test. I'm going to put like the full definition and description of what the high COSI is all about. Guys, it was painful. Basically, what they do is they put like a balloon into your uterus, and they kind of blow it up, and then they force like a fluid into it, and it kind of injects fluid into your fallopian tubes to make sure it is clear. And the process of doing that, in fact, when I came out of that place, I was sick. they had to prepare a bed for me to lie down. It was supposed to just be a test that you just do and go back home. I was vomiting, I was shaking, shivering. It was not funny at all. So but anyway, we got the test done and everything, and then eventually the test came back that my fallopian tubes were clear and everything was fine. So I kept wondering, yeah, okay, so what's going on, you know, what's happening? And you keep wondering, you know, throughout your journey, why things are taking so long, you know, what's happening. It got to a point where it started getting really frustrating, you know, emotionally. You know, for me, it was very difficult, you know, and as a woman, you're very emotional about things, you know, you're wondering, this is something that's so easy for people to do. You know, you start thinking all kinds of things. Even you get to the point where you start thinking, even animals, it's so easy for them to conceive, you know, and when you see people pregnant, you're happy for them. And but then it creates some sort of, not self-doubt, but you begin to question and wonder, God, they say everything's okay, what is going on? Why is it difficult for me trying to conceive? What are the issues? I know generally they say it takes couples up to 3 years. It's not really a problem medically, that's what they say. So but African culture, by the time it passes 1 year, like, what's going on? What's happening? There's nothing going on. Your tummy is not showing, kind of thing. All those different pressures. Even though where we were in the UK, the pressure was not as much, but then you still feel it because you have expectations and this is what you want. You're looking forward to having a child and all that. So there was a lot of emotions on my side. I was very emotional, but then I got to a point where I was like, emotions are great and it is good, but then at the same time I was like, I need to trust God. I need to be strong. I need to figure out with my husband what we're going to do, what is the plan and all that. So, but for my husband, he's not as emotional. Guys tend not to be show their emotions so much, and and he was pretty steady, I would say, in terms of his emotions, but it was still difficult for him, the process and why it takes long. Imagine every time you need to go and do, you are thinking, something must happen, all those things. It's very complicated, and guys, if I'm to start telling you the story around, but anyway, let's get on to my next point. In terms of support, what kind of support did we get? So in terms of family and friends, like, parents were really supportive of us. Family, sisters, brothers, relatives, sister-in-laws, everybody was really, really supportive. People were praying, encouraging, say one or two things when they needed to. It's I know in the African culture, it's slightly different, because people tend to be very quiet when it comes to people who are trying to conceive. So it takes a lot for somebody to come and tell you something because they don't want to offend you. And that was one thing I found quite challenging, particularly with those that were really close to me. I was happy for people to say one or two things, or to approach me and say, this is what it was not even about talking about the issue. It was more about making friends and connecting even on other things. And when you connect on other things, you tend to want to talk about other things that are bothering you too. So not like, come and fix my problem kind of thing. And it's slightly frustrating for a lot of people who are in this process, or in trying to conceive. Like, you always feel like you're coming to, let me come and solve your problem, let me come and solve your people want friendship, people want relationship, they want to be able to relate with you, to get to know you and know that you're really interested in them, than just trying to fix their problem. And it might not be that the person coming to give the help is trying to just solve a problem, but sometimes people tend to think that way. So as I said, in terms of medical support, we had doctors that we went to doctor friends that we knew both home and abroad. We went to discuss things like, how many times a week do you do the do? Yes, that's the question. Because those things are important, because there's a window in which you are fertile, so you have to hit that target. If you're not hitting it, it's just the way God created things. Not going to happen at another window. The egg only comes out and lasts for 48 hours. So the sperm must be there to meet the egg. Simple. So those things were important things that people would ask, and there are questions that in your mind, you even start to ask yourself some very, very ridiculous things like, are you sure that you're doing it the right way? And all that. I'm being real, because that is just the reality. Like, when you're going through the process, you think about all those things. So, but then, and another form of, or another way we really supported ourselves, actually leaning on each other and supporting and encouraging one another. My husband was always there to like listen to me when I needed a shoulder to cry on, I needed to talk about something, and I was always there to listen to him, to understand. We prayed together, we talked about a lot of issues and supported each other, and we made it we're intentional about what we did with people. We went to people's kids' birthday parties. We ensure that we engaged with people, spent time with people, did stuff, not like, oh, I don't want to go to her birthday, son's birthday, because it's going to. I got to that point where I was like, I can't be like that. I must be happy and joyful for everybody in their situation. And that was one thing God took me through, where I had to learn to be happy for people, irrespective of what my situation was, to be joyful and to be thankful and content in my situation. As much as I am trusting him and believing him for mine, be happy for others, celebrate with others. That thing was so vital for me, and it really helped me in, changing, in growing, and also enjoying the process, as it were. And then our biggest support was God, really. So we spent a lot of time praying, studying the Bible, listening to messages, listening to encouraging words, scriptures and things. It was very, very vital for our emotional well-being, our spiritual well-being, our physical, everything, because for my husband and I, that is like the main focus of our lives. God is the center of our home, and everything goes through him. So we took everything, every situation, anything we were struggling with, to God, and he provided answers, solutions for us, what to do, what next to do, and so on and so forth. It also got to a point where I know my mom used to like pray a lot. I remember somebody telling me, I was like, go and tell your mom that God has heard that prayers, that God said she's disturbing with her prayers. And it just kind of reminded me of a scripture where it talked about the judge, the unjust judge, and this woman that kept hounding him and saying that, answer me, these people are not, and God was like, if the unjust judge can do that and just answer the woman and she gets, her solution and everything, how much more him? And it just really assured me that God was on our side during that, phase, and encouraged me to know that, support is so important. You can't, when you're going through a challenge or a situation, you need people in your circle that are standing with you, on the same page with you, believing God for you, trusting God, when you need to chat, they are there. When you need a visit, you can go to their houses and stay over, whatever it is that you need, go on holiday, whatever it is, to just get your mind off certain things. It is very vital and important. So my next point is, how did I prepare myself for pregnancy, like in terms of preparing my body? Like, what did I do nutrition wise? What did I do exercise wise? So first things first, nutrition. As you guys know, if you follow me on Instagram, I'm very much into like what I eat. I'm careful about what I put in my body and all that, because I feel it is very important for our health, our mental state, and so on and so forth. I also believe strongly as Christians that what we eat, what we put into our bodies, because our bodies are the temple of God, and it is important that I am a good steward of the temple of God, which is me. So it was weird because if you know ube is like a purple avocado-like kind of fruit, but it's slightly tangy. I ate this thing like no man's business during that time, just before I got pregnant. I don't understand why I had a sudden craving for ube. There was a guy, when I used to go to work, there was a place where I used to go to buy some food items in the UK just before I would head home, and there was a guy that sold ube by the truckload. So I would spend, like, see guys, when I tell you I spent nothing less than hundreds of pounds on ube, it's not a joke. I spent so much money buying ube, and I didn't understand why. I just kept eating this thing. I was just eating ube. I was just eating it, like buying the thing. Every time this man would see me, ube again. So, but then he was telling me how people come to buy this thing. So I was like, okay, so it's not unusual. People eat it and people love it. So, but it was an amazing it really surprised me. And then when I looked at the nutritional content of the beer, I was like, okay, it's very rich food, folic acid, and all that. It's really great, lots of vitamins, to support your reproductive system and your whole everything functioning. So, and then the other things I tried out too, my mom also mentioned feijoa. Some of you might know what it is. It looks like a guava, but it tastes, it's just slightly softer and it's slightly, should I say, a bit tangier and a bit different than a guava, but they're the same family and they look very similar. And it was really great for reproduction and all that, and conception and all. So I decided to buy a few. It's quite pricey, but I was able to find a place to be able to get such things. So I tried that. I think I even ate it like only once. I even had, there was this other one called the snake fruit. The pattern on the outside of the skin looks like a snake, but the fruit inside is like white, and then it's like it's quite sweet, and it's just a really nice crisp, like in terms of texture, so I have had things like that, but then there were other things I was doing. I was trying to eat very, very well, eat lots of salads, avoid things that were, vegetables, avoid too much processed foods and all that, just to get myself in shape. Then the second thing I did was I hired a personal trainer. So I got a lady that she specialized in doing exercises and different types of sorts of training for you when you're trying to conceive. So I explained to her my journey, what was going on, and then I was like, what can I do? Can you advise me what I need? So she gave me exercises I should do to help open my pelvis. And interesting, because that was the same period that I got pregnant, and I had to stop, because when I got pregnant, I felt really, really ill, so I couldn't continue doing a lot of, exercises because of my condition at the time, So things like that, trying to get myself in shape, and then getting myself mentally prepared, meditating on the word of God, thinking about what God has in store for me. What does God say about children? What does God say about raising children? What does God say about a home as a mother, a wife? All these things are important. They are very, very necessary, to really think about. So now to the interesting part. Bam! I was pregnant, and interestingly, it happened on the 13th of February. Valentine. Anyway, so I had been late, and then I was like, honey or baby, I need to do some tests. So luckily enough, I had some strips at home, like the effective ones, like the cheaper ones. So I decided to just do some tests, and I checked after some minutes. 2 lines. Okay, one was slightly, if it doesn't matter if they're exactly as pink or red, like the same shade. I was like, honey, come and see, come see. And we were both shocked. And this was in the evening of the 13th, and we just kept looking at ourselves like, like, is this actually happening? This was like 7 years, into the 7th year into our marriage. And we were just like, like, what is going on? And we were there was a deep sense of gratitude. You just sat down and were just like, God, this has finally happened. And we were just, when he's done so much for me, I cannot tell it all. That was it. Just simple. Like, if I had 1,000 tongues, they still won't be enough. That was just what was in my spirit. I was just like, God, I don't know how to say thank you, and we were just overwhelmed. So the next day we went. I told my husband, first thing in the morning, we are going to the nearest supermarket to buy, because by the time within our area, most supermarkets had shut down. So sharp, I was like, honey, it's time, let's go to the supermarket and buy this. So we went to go and buy. Came and tested. So we got the clear blue ones, because this ones tell you how many days, how far gone you are. They put a smiley face in and all that. So tested, and it was positive and was telling me how many days long gone I was. And it was like, okay, confirmed. We're so excited, thinking about telling parents and all that, so eventually we told our parents and our family, and everybody was so excited. And obviously we had to wait for a little bit longer, went to doctors to confirm and everything, and it was confirmed. So it was just an exciting journey during that period, and then a few months in, I got really ill with hypermesis gravidium. So, and that was quite strong. Maybe that would be another story for another day. So, but yeah, this is my, journey with trying to conceive. So I encourage you, if you're struggling, or I don't know how long it's been for you, maybe 2 years, 3 years, 10, 15. God knows, God understands why you're going through the situation, and I really want to encourage you and be there to support you. And I pray that God will really help you in trying to have, this child that you're looking, for. And I pray that you'll be able, to conceive. So guys, if you like this, just let me know what you think. Just comment, let me know. Those of you who have been through it, what did you eat? What did you do? Did you see any dietitians? Did you see any nutritionists? What was your journey, in short? Emotionally, how did you feel? Just let me know in the comments. So make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification button, share, and thank you so much, guys, for sticking with me. It's me, Pauline. Keep on. I hope. Hey, okay. Bye.